Hello friends, welcome to today's daily devotion. I'm reading to you out of the Gospel of Matthew, the 18th chapter, and I'll be reading that all the way through Thursday this week. Today, reading Matthew 18, 1 through 5. Hear now these words. At the time, the disciples came to Jesus and asked, "Who then is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" And Jesus called a little child to him and placed the child among them, and he said, "Truly, I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Therefore, whoever takes the lowly position of this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And whoever welcomes one such child in my name welcomes me." I don't think this is what his followers expected Jesus to say in response to their question, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? It's really interesting. They had this running argument that went on and on throughout the Gospels, where they are arguing among themselves who is the greatest in the kingdom. And I don't think they're talking about Jesus, they're talking about themselves. Who's the top dog among all of the followers of Jesus? And so now here they're asking him a question, which one of us is your favorite? And Jesus says, "Here, let me show you who is the greatest, who's my favorite. You've got to become like a child." Now for us, we kind of go, "Aw, isn't that sweet?" But in Jesus' day, children were considered to be just a little bit above the animals and a little bit lower than any other part of the family. So children were definitely meant to be rarely seen and never heard. And so for Jesus to take a child and to say, here is the most important, is a radical reimagining of the order, the hierarchy of how Jewish society in the first century existed. And I think this is a lesson for us to understand and apply to today. We need to not try to think of ourselves as being great or greater or the greatest. Instead, we should be humble. Offer ourselves to Jesus just as we are and allow Him to lift us up to be who we were created by Him to be. And that, my friends, is what it means to be a child and welcome Jesus. This is how we should follow Him. And I'll share more with you on our next daily devotion.